A black teen, Jaden, 19, wearing a hoodie, walks down the sidewalk, hands in his pockets. His face is focused, expression calm but alert. He walks past a row of parked cars. Officer Davidson, a late 30s, white, mid-level police officer, drives the car. His face is hardened, full of suspicion as he looks at Jaden walking down the street. Davidson's eyes narrow as he watches Jaden move along the sidewalk. Internal thoughts begin to swirl. Officer Davidson, whispering, "Why's he out here at this hour? Ain't no reason a kid like him should be walking around in this neighborhood. Probably up to no good." He glances at the rearview mirror, making sure he's still visible to Jaden. The grip on the steering wheel tightens. Officer Davidson, continuing, "Probably just another one of these troublemakers with a chip on his shoulder." Davidson taps the radio. Officer Davidson, dispatched, "Unit 45, I've got a suspicious male on 3rd and Oak. Can I get a backup?" Dispatch, through the radio. "Copy, Unit 45. Backup is on the way." Davidson slows down, staring at Jaden. Jaden keeps walking, barely acknowledging the police car as it creeps behind him. Davidson pulls over abruptly and gets out of the car. He strides toward Jaden, who stops and faces him. Officer Davidson, pulling out his flashlight. "Hey, hands where I can see him." Jaden's hands stay in his pockets. His eyes stay locked on Davidson's. Jaden, calmly, "What's this about, officer?" Davidson steps closer, the flashlight now shining in Jaden's face, his body language aggressive. Internal thoughts churn in Davidson's mind. Officer Davidson, narrating, "Look at this kid, probably thinks he's tough. Walking around with that cocky attitude like he owns the place. Don't they all think they're untouchable? Like, we won't do anything to them?" Officer Davidson, snarling, "You know what this is about. Stay where you are." Jaden, steady, measured, "I'm just walking home." Davidson steps closer, practically invading Jaden's space. Officer Davidson, bitter, "Walking home? More like walking straight into trouble. These guys think they can just wander around wherever they want, no consequences." Officer Davidson, aggressive, "You've got an attitude, huh? You know what time it is?" Jaden remains still, his posture exuding calm, but his eyes are calculating. Jaden, quietly, "I don't see how that matters." Davidson steps closer, his eyes scanning Jaden up and down. Officer Davidson, suspicious, "I know the type. Got that look in his eyes, he's trouble always getting into something. But they all act the same, like they're the victims, like they haven't done anything wrong." Officer Davidson, "You don't belong here, hands on the car." Jaden, softly, no fear, "I'm not doing anything wrong." Davidson pulls out his handcuffs, grabbing Jaden's arm roughly. Jaden jerks his arm away. Jaden, voice hardening, "Don't touch me." Davidson pushes him into the car with force. Officer Davidson, angry, "What did I just say? Get your hands on the car." Jaden reacts with lightning speed, his body moving almost before Davidson can finish his sentence. In one fluid motion, Jaden pushes Davidson off him, spins and flips him onto the ground. Davidson struggles, grabbing for his radio, but Jaden's swift movements have taken the upper hand. The sound of a crackling radio breaks the tense silence. "Dispatch, urgent. Unit 45, are you code 4? There is a moment of silence, then a strained voice from Davidson. "Officer Davidson," radio crackles, "I need backup. Now." Jaden stands a few feet away from Davidson, his hands held out in front of him, showing he's not a threat, but his eyes are cold, focused. Jaden, firmly, "You don't get to hurt me, not tonight." Davidson, now trembling, picks up his radio, his voice shaky. Officer Davidson, through clenched teeth, That's impossible. A black police car speeds toward the scene. 2 more officers, more professional but clearly on edge, are in the car, their sirens blaring as they arrive at the scene. The car screeches to a stop. Both officers step out, weapons drawn. Officer Davidson, still on the ground, frantic. "Take him down, he's a... Jaden," interrupting calmly. "A Navy SEAL." The words hang in the air. The new officers freeze. Jaden's gaze is piercing. There is a moment of recognition. His stance says everything. He's not some random teen. The quiet weight of his words hits. Davidson looks up at the other officers, but his eyes are filled with fear and uncertainty. He gulps. Officer Davidson, sputtering. That's impossible." The interrogation room is sterile. The camera is tight on Jaden's face. He's still calm, but there's a sense of strength about him that radiates. Captain Williams, a middle-aged black officer, enters. He looks at Jaden with quiet respect, then nods toward Davidson, who's standing by the door. Captain Williams, softly, "Take a seat, son." Jaden remains standing, his eyes fixed on the captain. Captain Williams, "I know what happened out there. Davidson's been here a while, but this isn't something we tolerate." Jaden, low, controlled. "No one should." The captain hesitates. He knows the stakes. Captain Williams, leaning forward, "You don't have to explain yourself, but you do need to tell me what happened out there." Jaden doesn't respond immediately, but his eyes soften. He's not here to escalate, just to be heard. Davidson is in the interrogation room, now sweating, his face pale. The realization of what he's done is sinking in. The captain stands across from him. Captain Williams, quietly, "You've put the department in a bad position, Davidson, but you've also shown your true colors." Davidson doesn't meet his gaze. Jaden walks out of the station, free. A police escort leads him to a waiting car. As he enters, the camera lingers on his face, hinting at a man who knows his worth but won't let anyone define it for him. Davidson sits at his desk, staring at a photograph of his badge, a sign of his once proud career. He sighs deeply, the weight of his actions pulling him under.